Hello! We are going to be making some art today that uses line and shape. And we're going to be using rulers and a square piece of paper to make a barn quilt. What is a barn quilt? It is not a blanket that a barn goes to sleep with, but instead it is a big piece of wood that somebody paints patterns and designs on to put on the outside of a barn as some fun, colorful decorations. And it looks a little something like that. So it'd be a big square with geometric patterns on it. And a geometric pattern is a shape that uses very straight, hard lines that you would use a ruler for. And you would measure, and it would be nice and perfect. The bricks on the wall of the school that we are in is geometric. Every brick has to be exactly the same, otherwise the wall would fall down. If one brick was a little shorter, or one brick was not quite as long, or the sides weren't perfectly even and it would sit at a diagonal instead of straight, then the wall would fall down. Geometric shapes are almost always perfectly measured out and have nice straight lines, as opposed to an organic shape. Organic means it's found in nature. So if you think about a ball or you think about a pebble, and the difference, the ball is nice and perfectly smooth, it's made by a machine, every ball that the machine makes is exactly the same, whereas pebbles are all different. They have rough edges, they have dips and curves and bends, and they're not perfectly round and perfectly the same. So that would be the difference between an organic and a geometric. And today we're going to be doing geometric, and we need to be using our ruler. That's very important. The first step is to look at different ideas of what a barn quilt could look like. So the teacher is going to hopefully give you some handouts here, and you can see some different ideas. Here are some that are just the lines, and then others that have the color, and your copies might just be black and white, but here they are in color. So the first thing we need to do is we need to come up with a design for our quilt that we're going to make. And we're going to use this sheet, which is our little practice sheet, to make our design on, and then from there we're going to put it on a big 10 by 10 inch square and color it with colored pencils. On this practice sheet, I've already did the two middle lines for you. We need to now divide it into quarters, so that's half of a half. So I'm going to need you to take your ruler and to make those lines here, 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 and here in just a minute. Not right now because I'm still talking. So after I'm done, you're going to have to make those, and then you're going to have a grid. And that grid is going to look something like this behind me here. 16 squares. And from there, we're going to divide the squares into some triangles, or we're going to make diamonds, and we're going to get all these different patterns and shapes, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. So the first one I'm going to show you is a diamond, and it can look something a little bit like this. You see the big diamond here in the middle, and then it's also, the way I colored it, creates triangles. So it created 4 triangles or one big diamond. And the way that you do that is over here on the grid. Start in the middle bottom. I'm going to go up to the middle side, and you should go right through an intersection of that grid. And then we're going to go up to the top middle, the side middle, and now the bottom middle. And now I just made a big diamond. Hopefully you can see that. From there, I could also make a diamond in the middle. So I'm going to go down one, not quite on the outside edge, and I'm going to make a diamond by going corner to corner to corner. And I just made another diamond inside the diamond. Now from there you can figure out how you want to color it. You could also add some diagonal lines on the outside if you wanted to. You could color the inside 2 different colors. You could color the outside. You could color lots of different variations here how you can color this. But that is one idea. Another idea is called a pinwheel. And that pinwheel is very similar to the diamond. We're going to be using triangles. And on the middle here, I'm going to make an X right across the middle. And now to make the pinwheel is all about how I'm going to color it. So I'm going to color this triangle right here a color. And then if you picture it like a windmill, the next triangle down. So I'm going to color and then skip and then color. And then skip and color. And skip and color. And there we have a little pinwheel. You could also color the skipped ones a different color, or you can just leave them white. Another way to do that, you can do a big pinwheel. By making a bigger triangle, and that's, I'm going to start all the way on the outside edge and go make a little triangle like this. Hopefully you can see that. And now the next line, think of this like a cross, the next line from the outside, make a little triangle. Same thing, now we have the straight bottom line, make a triangle, sideways line, make a triangle. And we just made a big pinwheel. And so here's an example of that pinwheel. Kind of looks like a windmill, like the windmill blades. And here's a big one. So here's that same big one. So you can see like the cross here, those are your middle lines. And then the little flag part goes to the middle of the middle here, the quarter, and then back. So it goes to the middle and then to the outside. So there's your triangles. And then I added corners. You could add something else. And if you drew a line from here to this one, you can see that kind of becomes that diamond that we started with on that first one. You can see the diamond. So if I colored here, 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 and here, you would start to see that diamond shape. Another really fun one is a star. So for the star, we're going to start with our grid, and we're going to draw an arrow, a little triangle arrow pointing down. So this is the middle of my square, and my arrow is pointing down toward the middle. Same thing on the bottom. Now it's going to be pointing up. So they're kind of looking at each other, pointing at each other. Now we're going to do the same thing from the sides. And hopefully you can kind of see that if on the edges here it creates a star. And now in the middle you could make a pinwheel, or you could make another diamond shape. And there's again all different ways you could color this. And I'll show you this one. So you can see here's my arrows pointing at each other, my triangles, and then the squares from the corners, and it created a star. So I colored the outside and the star left white, and then the middle of the star I did the pinwheel. So every other blade here of triangles is colored pink, and then the other one is yellow. So it's like two pinwheels put together. But I could have done a diamond or something else, or even just left these squares like a checkerboard. You can do that too. So there are 3 fun ideas of how to make a quilt. And there's also a few other ideas up at the top to help you. The star that we made here on the board, this is the same kind of star, just with a different middle, and a pinwheel. So now it's your turn. We're going to pause the video and make your sample here on this worksheet, your practice one, before we get started on the big one.